Can you hear me? Yep. 欢迎来到保加利亚，亲爱的朋友们，我们现在开始吧。Dear Vice Rector of the Sofia University, Kliment Okhritsky, Professor Maria Stoicheva, honorable dignitaries, Your Excellencies, representatives of renowned academic institutions and think tanks, representatives of business chambers and associations, distinguished guests, dear colleagues and friends, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the organizers and co-organizers, it is my utmost pleasure to greet you all to the International Scientific Practical Conference under the motto 10 years of cooperation, exchange and connectivity between China and countries of Central and Eastern Europe. The conference is being held in the context of 10th anniversary of the China CEE Cooperation Platform. It is organized by the Association for the Promotion of Agricultural Cooperation between China and countries of Central and Eastern Europe, with support of Sofia University Kliment Okhritsky, and especially the three faculties, the Faculty of Economic and Business Administration, the Faculty of Classical and Modern Philology, and Faculty of Philosophy. The Agricultural Academy of Sofia, the State and Law Institute to the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences, and Diplomatic Institute to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Bulgaria. Here is a moment to express our gratitude to the Chinese Embassy in Bulgaria and personally to the Chinese Ambassador, His Excellency Mr. Dun Xiaojun, for his dedicated work for the development of mutually fruitful win-win relations between Bulgaria and China. Today's scientific event aims to provide a comprehensive review of China relations with the countries of Central and Eastern Europe for the past decade, making a realistic cross-sectoral and cross-field assessment of past achievements, identifying the challenges and outlining future prospects for China, CEE mechanism and sectors of cooperation. The conference is expected to present to the critical audience and innovative ideas that will give new impetus to China-CEE relationship. It is also honest to note that this high-level forum is taking place in the context of tectonic and systemic shifts of power in the international system for the past 2 years. It is also worth emphasizing that the cooperation of China with countries of Central and Eastern Europe, together with the Belt and Road Initiative, stand as a major tools of China foreign policy in European context. Strategically basing relations with the Central and European countries complement the relations with the EU. Thus, the China-EU relations should be looked from the broader dynamics of China-CEE countries' relations. Both initiatives encourage shared development, connectivities in trade, investment, transport, infrastructure, industrial and technological development, digital economic development, financial integration, and most importantly, people-to-people exchange in the field of culture, education, local municipality, think tank communities. With this regard, I hope that this important conference will be an important contribution to people dimension of relations with China with countries of Central and Eastern Europe. The beauty of this high-level scientific forum lies in the synergy and complementarity of cross-professional and multidisciplinary knowledge and expertise shared by a sound group of academic scholars, policy researchers, business executives, diplomat practitioners from the fields of politics, economics, from the field of trade, energy, tourism, agroeconomy, agrogenetic, philosophy, culture, and other specialized fields of sciences. We are truly confident that this diverse group of representatives from academia, business circles, and think tank community will bestow us with in-depth, intellectually motivating, interacting, and thought-provoking sessions and discussion. Apart from sizable Chinese delegation to the conference, the organizers have managed to secure the participation of researchers and experts from a considerable number of Central and Eastern European countries. from the Balkans like Bulgaria, Albania, Croatia, Greece, Serbia, Romania, Slovenia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Northern Macedonia, Montenegro, from Central Europe, Poland, Czech Republic, Hungary, scholars from outside the platform such as Turkey and Kosovo. Following this brief introduction, allow me now to pass on the floor to our renowned high-level speakers to make their welcome speeches. It is my great honor to invite to the podium to make her opening address of the Vice Rector of Sofia University and Chair of the Scientific Committee, Professor Dr. Maria Stojceva.
Dear participants in the conference, particularly welcome to our high-level distinguished guests, Mr. President, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Bulgaria, representatives of other embassies to Bulgaria. Special welcome to our guests from countries of Central and Eastern Europe, of representatives of our ministries, and the keynote speakers to this conference. On behalf of Sofia University, St. Clement Ochridsky, I would like to welcome you all in this beautiful building in the very center of the capital of Bulgaria, also symbolizing the importance of science, research, and education in our culture and in our everyday life. It is not by chance, and it is not due only to the beauty of this building and hall, that the conference is organized here. Because our university, Sofia University St. Clement Ochridsky, is in the core of the development, establishment, and future strengthening of our cooperation with China. I would like to mention that in the university, in one of our faculties that is part of the organization of this conference, teaching and learning of the Chinese language has started long ago, in the 1953. And I would like to mention especially the special attitude that the then Chinese government has paid to this process, sending to our university one of the most distinguished linguists in Chinese language, Zhu Desi. So from this period, we started a very strongly supported academic attitude and approach to learning the language of China. Now we have a department of Chinese studies, and the special degree program in Chinese, both in bachelor and master level, has started in 1991. But our cooperation as an academic institution is not closed within the Faculty of Classical and Modern Languages, and as you have heard, two other faculties are very active in establishing and developing contacts and cooperation with China. Particularly our Faculty of Economics and Business Administration, and also the Faculty of Social Sciences, which traditionally bears the name Faculty of Philosophy in this country. So this initial start of our cooperation was taken over and permeates most of the academic faculties and departments in this university. I would like to say that our university is the oldest, the largest, the most internationally recognized university of Bulgaria. We are very happy that recently we have been awarded the title of a research university, which opens further opportunities and windows for cooperation. We are also part of the great initiative of the European Commission of consolidating the European higher education area And our university was awarded the title of European University under the European University Alliance Transform for Europe. With these international activities of our university, we also include a very important focus on global outreach, within which Chinese university constitute a very important and major area. Education is actually a very important step towards strengthening the cooperation between Bulgaria and China. Very often we talk in our university about the so-called, as we want to call it, closer people-to-people academic exchanges for mutual understanding. Because this people-to-people academic exchanges covers not just education, but also multilingualism, culture, teaching and learning of our languages. It represents for us a significant pillar of the relations between China and the European Union, among the other pillars, the economic and trade dialogue and the high-level strategic dialogue. I think in this way we accomplish the so-called comprehensive strategic partnership between our two countries. We are very happy to say that although the pandemic interrupted lots of our plans and activities, now we have a stable basis in the 3 years agreement for cooperation in the area of education between 2020-2023, which was signed in June 2020 in Beijing. And I think there's great interest, not just among our academic staff, but also among students, Bulgarian students, to study in China and to visit China. And we very much rely on your support as representatives of different institutions to open wider the door for more Chinese students studying at our university. I would like to say also that we have a very solid basis in our cooperation with many Chinese universities, not just in the area of language learning, which we consider one of our highest achievements in this area. I think we have come along a road from academic diplomacy to what we now call people-to-people relations. And I think we have already built bridges which are based on mutual trust and consolidated intercultural understanding. And we very much hope that in the future we will develop these cooperation in harmony, and we will go beyond learning from each other, which we know, to co-creating. Thank you very much. I wish success to the conference and welcome again to all the participants.
Thank you, Professor Stoicheva, for your enlightening speech and welcoming address to this high-level forum. You especially outlined the importance of people-to-people exchange, which is as an element of developing the strategic cooperation between China and Bulgaria, which I think is very important. The relationship between countries first starts at the human level, and this is how it works. You also very much pointed out the importance of the work of the oldest educational institution in Bulgaria in terms of popularization of Chinese language and culture. This is I think, very important. And the possibility for educational and scientific exchange between Bulgarian and Chinese university and I hope that this will continue in the future. Now, before inviting our next speaker, I would like to mention that one of the successes of the cooperation platform between China and Central and Eastern Europe are so-called sectoral mechanisms. When each country, member states of the platform, is hosting a cooperation center coordinating a particular cooperation area, be it agriculture, be it trade and investment, be it culture, be it infrastructural and industrial development, technologies, and so on. In this respect, the work of the Center for Promotion of Agricultural Cooperation between Bulgaria and Central and Eastern Europe that is based in Sofia is truly excellent. Thanks to the center and thanks to the director. So in this respect, I would like to invite to the floor Dr. Momchil Stanishev to deliver his opening address to the participants of the forum. Welcome, Dr. Stanishev.
Dear President Mesic, Your Excellencies, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, it's a true privilege to me to address today's audience and to have the opportunity to give the start of the International Scientific Practical Conference. Firstly, I'd like to express my utmost gratitude towards President Mesic, His Excellency Deng Xiaojun, the Ambassador of People's Republic of China to Bulgaria, Mr. Dimitrios Michas from the Greek Embassy, for being here today and taking part in the opening ceremony of the conference. Please allow me to express my special gratitude to all diplomats and representatives from the diplomatic missions from the CEE countries who are attending the conference today. I would like to thank our colleague from the Consultative Board, Ms. Livia Chivo from the Ministry of Agriculture of Romania, and Professor Bojan Lalic, Director of Serbia Belt and Road Initiative Research Institute. I would like to express my gratefulness to the Deputy Minister of Agriculture of the Republic of Bulgaria, Mr. Georgi Sebev, and special gratitude to our colleagues from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Grigor Porozhanov, former Ambassador of Bulgaria to China, and our moderator, Dr. Valentin Katranjiev, from the Diplomatic Institute. In addition, I'm grateful to our co-partners from the Faculty of Business Administration and Economics, the Faculty of Classical and Modern Philology, the Faculty of Philosophy, the Agriculture Academy, the Bulgarian Academy of Science, State of Law Institute, and of course the Diplomatic Institute under the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Bulgaria. Thank you all for your efforts and help in making this conference a reality. Thank you. Thank you. During the two-day conference, we will talk about the achievements and economic development of the countries of the initiative over the last decade, the good practices in the field of agriculture between China and Central and Eastern Europe, as well as people-to-people dimension of the cooperation initiative. We received 51 abstracts, which were submitted by 65 authors and co-authors from 12 countries from the initiative. In order to share the findings, good practices, and successful projects during the last decade to a wider audience, we are streaming the conference online for Chinese audience and the Central and Eastern European countries. The initiative for cooperation between China and Central and Eastern European countries marks its 10th anniversary, and this is a very important milestone for everyone involved. The past decade showed that distance doesn't matter when our countries are willing to work together towards achieving common goals. The cooperation led to increased trade, academic exchanges, deeper connections between the societies who are part of the initiative. We also managed to form tight ties with companies and agencies and therefore started building a common future in which the initiative grows even further. The crisis caused by the COVID virus worldwide has had not only health consequences but also severe economic and social ones, affecting a number of sectors. The pandemic showed us just how much the world is interconnected and interdependent. Nevertheless, the relations between China and the countries of Central and Eastern Europe continue to grow, and we witnessed the total trade amounted to nearly 61 billion US dollars just for the first half of 2022, according to the statistics from the Chinese customs. Furthermore, the world is currently facing high levels of inflation, which will cause great losses in all sectors, including agriculture. Besides that, food security is another issue and a key element of the United Nations 2030 goals and one of the most important aspects of the national security. Precisely because of this, our nations should help each other and keep together. For that reason, the Association for the Promotion of Agricultural Cooperation between China and the Central and Eastern European countries' role as coordinator in the agro-food sector is to meet people's common interests, to facilitate the exchange of knowledge, good practices, and to enable new partnerships. Dear all, the Chinese market remains a constant area of opportunities for Central and Eastern Europe, entrepreneurs and small and medium businesses. In the section today during the conference dedicated to the good practices and business stories, 4 leading organizations will take part and they will share with us their own personal experience when it comes to creating, managing, and expanding a business. Their stories and examples of good practices and realized projects within the countries from the initiative will be an invaluable asset to future entrepreneurs and young business owners. I truly believe that the occasion which is gathering us today, namely the conference for the 10th anniversary of the Initiative for Cooperation between China and Central and Eastern European countries, will be a platform for creating new acquaintances and possibly new partnerships. I would like to wish to all of you a successful conference, health and prosperity. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you, Dr. Stanishev, for informing us about the possibility the Center for Promotion of Cooperation between China and Central and Eastern Europe provides. And you especially mentioned the role of the Center in coordinating the exchange of expertise and knowledge in the field of agriculture, including in the field of in the science of agriculture. And now it is a real pleasure. We are truly honored to have here with us His Excellency Mr. Stepan Mesic, who has been the President of the Republic of Bulgaria during the period 2000-2010. His Excellency, we anticipate your speech with strong interest. We know that Croatia is a strong supporter of the platform of cooperation between China and Eastern Europe. It's doing a lot, and in this respect, we would be pleased to hear what is really going on from the Croatian perspective about this initiative. Please, the floor is yours, Mr. President.
Vaša ekscelencije, poštovani sudionici i uzvanici, gospođe i gospodo, sve vas pozdravljam. Govorit ću hrvatski. Govorit ću hrvatski, razumet će me Slovenci, Hrvati, Bosanci, razumjet će me i Srbi, i Crnogorci, i Makedonci, a to je skoro pola svijeta. Prema tome, i budući da ću govoriti hrvatski, mogu pozdraviti i na kineskom, ni hao, sien sien.
Your Excellencies, dear participants and dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, heartfelt greetings from me to you. I will be speaking Croatian, which means that I will be understood by Slovenians, by Croatians, by Bosnians, by Serbians, Montenegrins, which is just about half the world. And even though I will be speaking in Croatian, I can still offer my greetings starting greetings in Chinese as well.
Hvala. Čast mi je biti danas u Sofiji, prelijepom i povijesnom gradu Europe, kako bismo svi zajedno analizirali 10 godina značajne suradnje između Kine i zemalja Srednje i Istočne Europe. Hoćemo ovako pasus po pasus? Možete.
It is an honor for me to be here in this beautiful historical European city of Sofia, so that we may all analyze together a decade of notable cooperation between China and the countries of Central and Eastern Europe.
Zahvaljujem uglednom stručnjaku za Kinu, doktoru Momčilu Staniševu, direktoru Udruge za promicanje poljoprivredne suradnje između Kine i zemalja Srednje i Istočne Europe na ovom pozivu.
I am grateful for the invitation of the esteemed expert on China, Dr. Momčil Stanišev, who is head of the Association for the Promotion of Agricultural Cooperation between China and the Central and Eastern European countries.
Krajem 2013. godine govorio sam u Pekingu na prvom simpoziju think tankova Kine i zemalja Srednje i Istočne Europe zajedno s jednim od najboljih diplomata svijeta, Yang Jiechi, koji je tada bio državni tajnik Kine.
Back in late 2013, I spoke in Beijing at the first symposium of the think tanks of China and the Central Eastern European countries, together with one of the best diplomats worldwide, Yang Jiechi, who then held the position of State Secretary of China.
Možemo 2 ili 3 prosto. Tada sam izradio nadu da će sve strane ojačati akademsku razmjenu kako bi pružile veću intelektualnu podršku suradnji. Posjetio sam i Kinesko poljoprivredno sveučilište, odjel za organski uzgoj i tehnologije. Današnja znanstvena konferencija za mene je na neki način simbol da su se naša očekivanja o uspješnom postavljanju platforme za međusobnu akademsku i ekonomsku suradnju i ostvarila. Suradnja između Kine i zemalja Srednje i Istočne Europe dokazala se uspješno. Njezin glas se čuje u Europi i Kini i zato svima vama čestitam na tom uspjehu.
Back at the time, I voiced my hope that all countries will intensify their academic exchanges so that they may render stronger intellectual support to the cooperation. I also visited the China Agricultural University, specifically the Department of Organic Breeding and Technology. For me, today's science conference is a kind of symbol of our achieved expectations regarding the creation of a successful platform for mutual academic and economic cooperation. Cooperation between China and the Central and Eastern European countries is proving itself a success. Its voice is being heard in both Europe and China. Therefore, I congratulate you all on this success.
Daleko smo stigli, zahvaljujući vrijednostima na kojima se temelji suradnja 16+1, a to su napredak za sve strane i prijateljski odnosi. Kina je pokrenula suradnju sa zemljama Srednje i Istočne Europe 2012. s naglaskom na digitalna i zelena ulaganja i svakako multilateralizam. Jedan od ciljeva je, osim rasta trgovine i međusobnih ulaganja, da novo nastala gospodarska međuovisnost među partnerskim zemljama jača mir. Predsjednik Kine Xi Jinping je 2021. godine najavio da će Srednja i Istočna Europa postati prva regija u svijetu koja će biti u potpunosti pokrivena pojasom i putem. U ovom trenutku su razvijeni procesi značajnog približavanja 16+1 i inicijative jedan pojas, jedan put i postoji mogućnost da se obje diplomacije spoje u jednu.
We have pushed far ahead owing to the values which underlie the 16+1 cooperation, which are progress for all parties involved and friendly relations. China has initiated its cooperation with the Central and Eastern European countries back in 2012 with a focus on digital and green investments and multilateralism. Apart from the growth in trade and bilateral investments, one of the objectives was that the newly merged economic interdependence would solidify peace. In 2021, China's President Xi Jinping announced that Central and Eastern Europe will become the first region in the world to be fully covered by the Belt and the Road. Presently, ongoing processes of an intensive coming together between the 16+1 cooperation and the One Belt, One Road initiative. And there is also an option to merge the two diplomatic initiatives into one single initiative. The further development of those models of cooperation in synergy with one another, according to the resolutions of the summit in Suzhou back in 2015, enabled the South and Eastern European countries to deepen their connections even further.
Dosadašnje razvijanje tih modela suradnje u sinergiji, kako je odlučeno na Suđu samitu 2015. godine, omogućilo je zemljama jugoistoka Europe da se još dublje povežu. Od 2014. do 2022. mehanizam suradnje Kine i Srednje i Istočne Europe funkcioniraju u skladu s pravilima i standardima i procedurama Europske unije, a zato su ga pohvalile i zemlje članice Europske unije i zemlje kandidati. Više od pola članica Europske unije sudjeluju u 16+1 i jedan pojas, jedan put. I vodstvo Europske unije bi trebalo gledati na tu suradnju i kao važan dio u prijateljskim odnosima Europske unije i Kine. Neke baltičke zemlje najavile su odlazak. Uvijek je tužno vidjeti zemlju koja napušta multilateralni mehanizam nakon godina dobre suradnje.
Between 2014 and 2022, the mechanism of cooperation between China and the Central and Eastern European countries operated in accordance with the rules, standards and procedures of the European Union, for which it received praise from the European Union member states and the candidate countries. More than half of the EU's member states take part in the 16+1 cooperation and the One Belt, One Road initiative, whereas the EU leadership should be looking at that cooperation also as a crucial part of the friendly relations between the European Union and China. Some of the Baltic countries have announced their impending departures. It is always sad to see a country quit a multilateral mechanism after years of good cooperation. This, however, will not hurt the overall mechanism of cooperation between China and Central and Eastern Europe, which is always open to new partners coming in.
Ipak to neće naškoditi cjelokupnom mehanizmu suradnje Kine i srednjoevropskih zemalja koji je otvoren za nove partnere koji dolaze. Ja sam bio zadnji predsjednik Jugoslavije, bio sam predsjednik Hrvatske 10 godina, bio sam premijer, bio sam predsjednik Hrvatskog parlamenta i moja politika uvijek je bila da u odnosima među državama treba prevladati suradnja, da svijet bude jedna obitelj, a njezin centar Ujedinjeni narodi. Međunarodni odnosi u sljedećem desetljeću neće ostati isti, ali se ne bi smjeli mijenjati kroz vojnu konfrontaciju i kaos. Europa, i to ne samo njezin istok, je ušla u razdoblje dominacije geopolitike, podjele i kao da nema volje za suradnjom.
I was the last president of Yugoslavia. I was Croatia's president for 10 years. I was prime minister of Croatia and also the speaker of the Croatian parliament. My policy has always been that countries' interrelations should be dominated by cooperation. The world being one family with the United Nations at its core. international relations in the next decade will not remain the same, but they must also not be changed via military confrontation and chaos. Europe, not just its eastern part, has entered a period of domination of geopolitics, a period of division, and there is seemingly no will for cooperation.
Takvo stanje moglo bi imati utjecaj i na suradnju Kine i zemalja Srednje i Istočne Europe. To ne smijemo dozvoliti jer smo izgradili čvrstu suradnju u svim područjima koja ima veliki potencijal da nadiđe sadašnji val geopolitike. Do rata u Ukrajini nije smjelo doći. Moje mišljenje da je trebalo provesti sporazum iz Minska te uz pomoć međunarodnih institucija sve do Ujedinjenih naroda tražiti izlaz. Svaki rat završuje s mirom, pa mora i ovaj u Ukrajini završiti s mirom.
That state of affairs could also impact the cooperation between China and the Central and Eastern European countries. We must not allow that to happen because we have built solid cooperation in all domains, and it has a great potential to overcome the rising tide of geopolitics. We should not have come to a war in the Ukraine. My opinion is that the Minsk agreement should have been implemented and that a way out should have been sought with the aid of international institutions, including the United Nations. Every war ends in peace eventually, and that should also happen with the war in Ukraine.
Želim vam svima puno uspjeha u radu ove konferencije. Želim vam puno svima suradnje s Kinom, jer ovo je stoljeće Kine. Zahvaljujem.
I wish everyone a lot of successful work during the conference, and I also wish you a lot of cooperation with China because this is China's century. Thank you for listening.
Hvala.
Oh, President Mesic, thank you indeed for your speech, for your wise words, especially for your message of peace. In these difficult times, when the world is ripped by conflicts, your message of peace is really important. You also outlined the values that are implanted in the initiative, the cooperation initiative between China and Central and Eastern Europe, especially the progress, all-party support and friendly relations, which is really important. And also I think one important message is that the world shouldn't be dominated by real politics. The cooperation platform between China and Central and Eastern Europe serves as a good example for peaceful cooperation between countries. So thank you once again. Now we are moving to our next speaker. We expect to have the speech of Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Subev. We will have him in online format. Deputy Minister Subev, are you with us?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely well. So I'm passing on the floor to you. And as the internet technologies allow, we will have the possibility to hear you online and to comment on what you're going to say. Please go forward.
Thank you. Madam Vice Rector, Your Excellencies, dear Bulgarian and Chinese colleagues and friends from the other CEE countries. It is a pleasure and privilege for me to be able to address you today, even though only remotely, from the OECD headquarters in Paris. In April 2022, we celebrated the 10th anniversary of the launch of the Initiative for Cooperation between China and the CEE countries, which initiative over the past 10 years has proven to be a useful mechanism for the further development of multilateral and bilateral cooperation between China and the countries of Central and Eastern Europe, setting up a multi-dimensional cooperation framework covering more than 20 sectors and contributing to the overall development of the comprehensive and multi-layered cooperation between the European Union and China. One of the results of the 14+1 cooperation mechanism is that the trade volume between China and the CEE countries has significantly increased over the last 10 years by more than 140%, reaching around 136 billion US dollars in 2021, including 1.5 times growth of the export of agricultural products from CEE countries to China. Bulgaria and China continue to promote bilateral trade in agricultural and food products, which is expanding its range and increasing its volume, showing a sharp increase of around 76% in 2021 compared to 2020 and reaching 264 million US dollars in value terms. The Bulgarian-Chinese cooperation in the field of agricultural science and technology also continues to develop successfully. The efforts of aligning cross-regional cooperation with the Belt and Road Initiative cooperation contributed to making Central and Eastern Europe the first region where all countries have signed agreements on Belt and Road cooperation. Bulgaria supports, actively participates and closely cooperates with China for the implementation of the Chinese initiative, the Silk Road Economic Belt and the 21st Century Maritime Silk Belt, and the Initiative for Cooperation between China and CEE countries. On November 26, 2015, Bulgaria and China signed a Memorandum of Understanding on the joint implementation of the One Belt, One Road initiative by developing various policies in the field of trade, agriculture, investment, contacts between people and local authorities. Bulgaria successfully cooperates with China within the multilateral 14+1 format, including in the field of agriculture. Since the official launch of its activities on June 26, 2015 in Sofia, the Association for the Promotion of Agricultural Cooperation between China and the CEE countries has proved to be an important tool for promoting cooperation in agriculture and food and for promoting trade in agricultural and food products within the 14+1 format. The two strategic projects of the Association for the Promotion of Agricultural Cooperation between China and the CEE countries, approved by the Council of Ministers of the Republic of Bulgaria, are: first, for the establishment and development of 14+1 agricultural cooperation demonstration zones in the CEE countries and in China; and second, for the establishment and development 14+1 e-commerce logistics hubs and pavilions for agricultural and other products in the CEE countries and in China. The Bulgarian Ministry of Agriculture actively participates also in the activities of the China-CEE Forestry Cooperation Mechanism, the operation of which was launched on May 24, 2016, and which functions as an executive coordination body in Ljubljana at the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food of the Republic of Slovenia. We believe that the China-CEE Forestry Cooperation Mechanism contributes to the expansion of bilateral and multilateral cooperation and to the further development of economic, scientific, and trade cooperation in forestry between China and the CEE countries. The Ministries of Agriculture of Bulgaria, the other CEE countries, and China should continue to support, assist, and promote the participation of CEE and Chinese companies in agricultural, food, and beverage trade exhibitions and fairs held in China and the CEE countries. The Bulgarian Ministry of Agriculture and the Association for the Promotion of Agricultural Cooperation between China and CEE countries have been supporting and assisting for years the participation of many Bulgarian agriculture and food companies in numerous exhibitions and fairs in China. We believe that the initiative for cooperation between China and the CEE countries should be more result-oriented and focus on implementing concrete cooperation projects and achieving practical results in increasing Chinese investment investments in CEE countries and balancing trade between China and these countries. We are confident that with the active assistance of the General Administration of Customs of the People's Republic of China, the process of finalization of the started procedures for meeting the requirements for import into China of numerous Bulgarian and other CEE agricultural and food products will be accelerated, which will expand the access of such CEE products to the Chinese market. The finalization of the remaining procedures will create conditions for a significant increase in the volume and types of Bulgarian and other CEE agricultural and food products exported to China. We are confident that the initiative for cooperation between China and the CEE countries will continue to be a useful and fruitful multilateral and bilateral cooperation mechanism, adding additional substance to the overall cooperation between the EU and China and producing practical and mutually beneficial results. I wish success to the 10th years of cooperation, exchange, and connectivity between China and CEE countries International Scientific and Practical Conference. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Minister Sobe. Thank you very much for outlining the role of the Center in developing the relations between China and Central and Eastern European countries in the field of agriculture, agriculture practices, as well as the role the Center plays in increasing the trade volumes between countries of the region with China. Now we have the very pleasure to invite to the podium His Excellency Mr. Dun Xiaodun to deliver his speech. Ambassador Dun, please welcome.
尊敬的玛利亚·斯托伊切夫教授，尊敬的摩姆齐尔，尊敬的摩姆齐尔，斯塔尼舍夫博士，尊敬的斯捷潘·梅西奇阁下，尊敬的格尔基舍贝夫副部长，女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家好。
Dear Professor Maria Stoicheva, dear Dr. Momchil Stanishev, Your Excellency Stepan Mesic, dear Mr. Georgi Sobev, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends.
首先我要感谢前面尊敬的演讲者关于中国的热情友好的讲话，以及 对中国中欧国家合作的高度评价和大力支持。
First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the speakers that supported the cooperation between China and Central and Eastern European countries and their evaluation of the Chinese development and our relationship.
今天非常高兴同大家欢聚一堂，总结中国中东欧国家合作的经验成就，展望合作前景。
It is a great pleasure together with you all on this conference to discuss and summarize the experience and achievements of China-CEE cooperation. Forward to the prospects of our collaboration.
我谨代表中国驻保加利亚大使馆，对中国中东欧国家农业合作促进联合会、索菲亚大学、保加利亚科学院、保加利亚农业科学院和外交学院为此次会议所做精心准备和周到安排表示衷心感谢。
On behalf of the Chinese Embassy in Bulgaria, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to the Association for the Promotion of Agricultural Cooperation between China and Central and Eastern European countries, the University of Sofia, the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences, the Bulgarian Academy of Agricultural Sciences, and the Institute of Foreign Affairs for their careful preparation and thoughtful arrangements of this meeting.
中国中东欧国家合作已经走过10年历程。10年来，中国中东欧国家合作经历了时间和国际形势复杂变化的考验，形成了符合自身特点，并为各方所接受的合作原则。
China CEE Cooperation Initiative has been going on for 10 years. Over the past 10 years, the cooperation between China and the countries of Central and Eastern Europe has withstood the test of time and the complex changes in the international situation, and has established cooperation principles that conform to its own characteristics and has been accepted by all parties.
我们照顾彼此关切，从各国实际出发，制定规划，确定项目，鼓励各国结合自身禀赋，在合作中找到定位，发挥优势。
We take care of each other's concerns, formulate plans, and determine projects based on the actual conditions of each country, and encourage each country to find out its own position and leverage its achievements in cooperation based on its own endowments.
我们互学互鉴，取长补短，坚持以协商合作弥合差异，解决分歧。
We learn from each other and we take on each other's strengths and complement our weaknesses. And we keep on bringing differences and resolving disagreements through consultation and cooperation.
我们聚焦务实合作，推动合作均衡发展，坚持经济与人文结合、贸易与投资并重，实现了助力各自发展、增进民生福祉的目标。
We focus on pragmatic cooperation, promote balanced development of collaboration, adhere to combining the economic and people-to-people exchange, and pay equal attention to trade and investment, and aim to achieve the goal of helping each other's development and improving people's well-being.
我们共同努力，携手推动中国同中东欧国家贸易额快速增长143%。2021年贸易额达到了1362亿美元。
We all work together to promote a rapid growth of 143% in the trade volume between China and Central and Eastern European countries, and the trade volume reached $136.2 billion in 2021.
女士们、先生们、朋友们，中国正迈上全面建设社会主义现代化强国、现代化国家新征程，向第2个百年奋斗目标进军。
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, China is embarking on a new journey to build itself into a modern socialist country in all respects and advance toward the second centenary goal.
中国共产党第20次全国代表大会在一关键时刻胜利召开，阐述了开辟马尔克斯主义中国化时代化新境界、中国式现代化的中国特色和本质要求等重大问题，就未来5年党和国家事业发展制定了大政方针，做出了全面部署，再次强调了中国始终坚持维护世界和平、促进共同发展的外交政策宗旨。
The 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China was successfully held at this crucial moment, expounding on the major issues such as opening up a new frontier in adapting Marxism to the Chinese context and the needs of the times, as well as on issues concerning the Chinese characteristics and essential requirements of the Chinese modernization. The Congress also formulated the major policies and and made comprehensive arrangements for the development of the party and the country in the next 5 years, and once again emphasized that China has always adhered to a foreign policy aiming to maintain world peace and promote common development.
我们历来主张，人类的前途命运应该由世界各国人民来把握和决定。只要共行天下大道，各国就能够和睦相处、合作共赢，携手创造世界的美好未来。
We have always maintained that the future and the destiny of mankind should be grasped and decided by the people of all countries in the world. As long as the world works together, all countries can coexist in harmony, cooperate for win-win results, and work together to create a better future for the whole world.
我们将同各国人民一道，弘扬和平、发展、公平、正义、民主、自由的全人类共同价值，持续推动构建人类命运共同体。
We will work with people of all countries to promote the humanity's shared values of peace, development, fairness, justice, democracy, and freedom, and continue to promote the building of a human community with a shared future.
女士们、先生们、朋友们，中国发展离不开世界，世界发展也需要中国。
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, the development of China is undividable from the world, and the world development also needs China.
中国开放的大门只会越来越大，我们将坚定不移全面深化改革开放，坚定不移推动高质量发展，不断推进高水平对外开放，稳步扩大规则、规制、管理、标准等制度型开放，加快建设贸易强国，推动共建“一带一路”高质量发展，维护多元稳定的国际经济格局和经贸关系。
We will unswervingly deepen reform and opening up in all respects, promote high-quality development, continue to promote high-level opening up, steadily expand institutional opening up with regard to rules, regulations, management, and standards, accelerate the construction of a trade powerhouse, and promote the joint construction of the Belt and Road Initiative, maintaining a diversified and stable international economic pattern and economic and trade relations.
中国愿同中欧国家分享中国发展机遇，共同维护多边贸易体制，携手拓展更大合作空间。希望通过本次科学与实践大会，大家集思广益，为新形势下中国中欧国家合作凝聚新共识，绘制新蓝图，共同推动中国中东欧国家合作凝聚新走得更稳、更实、更远。
China is willing to share China's development opportunities with the countries of Central and Eastern Europe, jointly safeguard the multilateral trading system, and join hands to expand greater space for cooperation. We hope that through this scientific and practical conference, everyone will pool their ideas, build new consensus, and draw a new blueprint for China CEC cooperation under the new situation, and jointly promote China CEC cooperation to go further, more steadily, and achieve practical results.
最后祝愿本次大会取得圆满成功，谢谢大家。
And finally, I wish this conference a complete success. Thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Dun, for your speech, for your wise comments, and for sharing with us the Chinese formula of success, the Chinese development model. What really impressed me is that China is the inseparable part of the world, and the world needs China. This is a very important message we hear, and this talks about the interrelatedness between countries and its peaceful development. Thank you very much indeed. Now I have the pleasure to invite my colleague from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who is the Director of the United Nations Directorate in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Grigor Porozhanov. Ambassador Porozhanov was the ambassador of Bulgaria to People's Republic of China during the 2016-2021, and he is merited during his ambassadorship for the organization of the leaders meeting of the Central and Eastern European Initiative here in Sofia that took place in 2018. He is contributed very much to the organization of this meeting. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Thank you, dear Valentin. Honorable President Mesic, Excellencies, representative from the diplomatic society here, professors and representatives, researchers from the academia, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor actually to greet you on behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Of course, greetings to the organizers, my dear old fellow Dr. Momchil Stanishev, and all the participants of today's conference dedicated to the 10th anniversary of the initiative for cooperation between the Central and Eastern European countries and China, and especially the Center for Agricultural Cooperation, established and based in Sofia. The anniversary is a very good occasion to take stock of the results, but also to explore the prospects of the initiative, particularly in light of the current complicated international situations, of course, having the focus on the Russian wars in Ukraine, as well as the numerous global and regional challenges. In its relations with China, the European Union is guided by its multi-phased approach. The European Union and China are major trade and business partners, with a daily trade volume of more than 2 billion euros. At the same time, they both are economic and technological competitors. On a number of issues, the European Union and China have different, often conflicting positions, but many global and regional challenges could not be tackled without the cooperation and interaction between both partners. Within the framework of the common European Union approach, Bulgaria highly appreciates its traditional warm relations of goodwill and mutual respect with China. We take pride in the fact that, in addition to being the second country in the world to recognize People's Republic of China, my country, Bulgaria, has established relations of strategic partnerships with China in 2019 during the state visit of President Rumen Radev to Beijing. We value the political dialogue between our two countries, the sectorial cooperation, the growing trade, the new forms and areas of interaction, the exchanges in education and science, in technology, the people-to-people contacts. At the same time, we have a clear perception of the great untapped potential for bilateral cooperation, of the necessity of active joint efforts for overcoming the substantial negative trade balance and for increasing the volume and the range of exports to China. The broader opening of the Chinese market for goods and services coming from our countries, for speeding up and simplifying the procedures for the import to China of agricultural products overall by origin of Central and Eastern Europe. During the 10 years of existence of the center here in Sofia, there have been substantial achievements in the relations between the Central and Eastern European countries and China, as well as, of course, between Bulgaria and China. Bulgaria has been an active participant in numerous events with the initiative. In this regard, I would like to mention the success of the Sofia Summit of the initiatives in 2018, the summit that produced the very important Sofia guidelines and stimulated the conclusions of a number of promising agreements and also projects within the initiatives, as well as on bilateral basis to each of every participant in the initiative. Since its inception, we have considered the initiative to be an important additional platform for high-level dialogue with the Chinese side, for exploring ways to promote ties and expand the scope of the cooperation with China. In its relations with China, Bulgaria has always insisted on following the European Union rules and regulations. It has been also important for us that the cooperation between Central and Eastern European countries and China under the initiative develops as a complement to the EU-China partnerships and, of course, in full accordance with the EU principles and rules. Our sincere desire and expectation from the initiative has been achieving more concrete results in the practical cooperation and providing opportunities for business-based projects. During the last several years, the COVID-19 pandemic greatly and negatively affected the exchanges under the initiatives and the ties and the cooperation with China of all the participant countries, including Bulgaria. The international situation has changed profoundly since that. There have also been new developments in the relations between European Union and China, as well as in the approach of certain countries towards the initiative. Bulgaria's approach continues to be based on pragmatic considerations. Its added value for us is the potential for practical results in our bilateral relations with China. I wish a fruitful discussion and assure you that your deliberations here, your recommendations would be of importance to our joint efforts to develop furthermore the relations between Bulgaria and China, the relations between the countries from Central and Eastern Europe. China. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Porozhanov. Thank you indeed for your welcoming address. Putting the relationship with countries of Central and Eastern Europe, in particular Bulgaria, within the European context, it is very important. The pragmatism in the relationship between Bulgaria and China, all this works and works well. And of course, increasing the possibility of Bulgaria agro products on the Chinese market. This is one of the things we are working on very much. So thank you again. Now, I would like to invite to the floor Mr. Dimitros Mikas, Minister Plenipotentiary for Economic and Commercial Affairs at the Embassy of Greece in Sofia. Greece is the country that been dynamically and vigorously participating in the initiative. It joined the cooperation platform in 2019 during the China and CEE leaders meeting in Dubrovnik, and he's been active participant since then. Please.
Здравейте, добре ден, таджао, ниао, калимера. I choose this to start with the three languages because I think it represents the connectivity between the three nations. Let me start by saying that this conference of 10 years of cooperation, exchange and connectivity between China and CEE countries is very important, specifically at this time and this, let's say, difficult times in international being and politics. We do believe, as Greece, that we would like to enhance, maintain this cooperation for the next years to be strong and to be very fruitful. I would like to, first of all, thank the organizers of the Bulgarian Institute also of Diplomacy, especially the dear colleagues and friends who are here. I'm very glad to see colleagues from that we used to work together in China, like Mr. Gregor Pozanov. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to extend a warm thank you to the organizers of this conference, the Association for the Promotion of Agricultural Cooperation between China and the countries of Central and Eastern Europe, the Rectorate of Sofia University, St. Clement Ohriski, and of course the Bulgarian Diplomatic Institute for hosting this important event, as well for inviting Greece, my country, to present its views on the occasion of celebrating the 10th year of cooperation, exchange and connectivity between China and CEE countries. Let me start by mentioning that the cooperation between China and the CEE countries is an important cross-regional mechanism for us. It essentially allows the participating countries to deepen bilateral and, of course, multilateral connectivity and relations. Important sectors of the economy can be connected, such as agriculture. Of course, this is the main topic of the conference, but at the same time, Greece believes that we can be connected in so many ways, in so many areas of activities, like energy, like education, etc., etc. We take into account that each initiative, which is something which have to be stressed out, is between countries that they are either EU member states or associated countries to the EU, and also countries that they would like to become EU members in the near future. Therefore, in the past 10 years since its launch, this mechanism has made positive progress and has accumulated rich experience to the benefit of all. Now, the case of Greece. Greece has become a latecomer in joining the then 16+1, now 14+1 initiative and its connectivity platform, as it became an active member only in April 2019. The same applies with Greece's membership to the Association for the Promotion of Agricultural Cooperation between China and the countries of CEE, which became effective after joining the 8th Consultative Board meeting in China in May 2019, and every meeting that took place virtually ever since we were there and we were present, providing always the board with constructive thoughts and ideas and updates. However, despite being a latecomer in the initiative, Greece has always valued the building of strong economic and connectivity ties with China and the rest of the countries, and Bulgaria, of course, two major partners in infrastructure development and commercial transactions. In our region, as well as with the other Central and Eastern European countries participating in the initiative, Greece more specifically maintains a great interest in further developing the connectivity platform of the initiative, as well as in expanding its scale and scope in a greater number of areas of mutual interest, such as cooperation and joint projects in energy, agriculture, tourism, innovation, industrial parks, education, custom procedures, etc. Following the adoption of the China-CEE Beijing list of activities back in February 2021, during the first summit of heads of states and governments on cooperation between China and CEE countries, Greece undertook the task of organizing two major events. First was the 6th China-CEE High-Level Tourism Cooperation Summit, and the second was the 3rd China-CEE Ministerial Experts Forum for the Preservation of Intangible Cultural Heritage. The former was scheduled for October 2021, but unfortunately, due to COVID, was postponed, travel restrictions, whereas the latter was successfully organized, the second one, in online format on the 15th of June earlier this year by our Ministry of Culture and Sports, with a special theme on climate change and intangible cultural heritage. That was a big success. In addition, our Ministry of Environment and Energy co-organized with the executive coordinating body of the 17+1 Forestry Cooperation Mechanism from China and an online seminar on forest bioeconomy development and cooperation of China CEEC. That seminar, held in April this year, 2022, also very successful and gathered around 70 participants from the 10th CEE countries, China, and observers. Why we mention all this? Just to show that Greece's commitment to the initiative is very strong and will continue to be very strong. With regard to Greece's contribution so far to the Association for the Promotion of Agricultural Cooperation, we have to say that we need to stress the following points. We have made a special directorate in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and as you know, our Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Fragogiannis, is in charge of the initiative, which means that everything passes through Deputy Minister Office in order to promote it further. We would like to say that during the pre-pandemic era in China in May 2019, we had people attending the Hangzhou International Expo Center and also Ningbo City Exhibition Hall. In February 2020, Greece pleasantly hosted the then Executive Director of the Association, Mr. Vasil Gelev, and other representatives of the Association in Athens, in a fruitful and very promising meeting. Since then, we have coordinated and shared information with the relevant directorates, authorities in our Ministry of Agriculture and Food, not only to establish good practices, but also to enhance and maintain relationships among the main stakeholders of the initiative. Recently, very recently, July 2022, Greece attended the online seminar on agriculture cooperation and innovative development for CEE countries, organized by the association. We are now looking forward to participate in the upcoming consultative board meeting scheduled for this month, November. Last but not least, within the 14th Plus initiative, Greece has the honor to contribute to serious documents for ministerial summits and projects, including the guidelines for cooperation between China and Central and Eastern European countries, the action plan between China and Central and Eastern European countries on agricultural cooperation 2021 to 2025, and the agricultural exchange program for young professionals engaged in agricultural production and management. Ladies and gentlemen, I would not like to take a long time today. Just these items are very important to know. Apart from strong historical and cultural ties between Greece and China, we have developed a very close bilateral economic cooperation over the years, especially after the year 2006, when we signed the Integrated Strategic Partnership Agreement with China that upgraded bilateral relations from the level of constructive engagement to a very strategic economic partnership. Since then, Chinese investments in Greece have been surging, and as a result, the Greek economy has benefited in many ways. The flagship project in Greek-Chinese cooperation, economic cooperation, is undoubtedly the investment by China on the shipping, on the port of Piraeus by COSCO Shipping. This is the flagship. And what we want to mention is that when others at the time, potential investors, assumed a wait-and-see policy, it was COSCO that trusted the value of the port, a strategically located Mediterranean port that links Europe, Middle East, and North Africa. The results are remarkable, exceed the most optimistic forecast. As of the late of 2021, COSCO has invested more than 1 billion euros in the port of Piraeus, resulting in 3,000 direct jobs and more than 10,000 jobs in related services. The port of Piraeus is now the leading port in the Mediterranean in terms of container transportation. and is the 5th in European Union and the 29th worldwide. Another example of fruitful bilateral cooperation has been the strategic investment of China's State Grid Corporation in Greece's independent power transmission operator with a 24% of shareholding. On top of that, China State Grid Corporation has an active interest in acquiring up to 20% of the shares of the new program we have, the Ariadne Interconnection, which is an IPTO special purpose vehicle that implements the Crete Attica electricity interconnection project. This is a project of, let's say, in practical terms, of underwater cable to connect Crete Island with the mainland Greece. There are also numerous other examples of important Chinese investments to quote, such as Huawei, ZTE, investments in centers, in R&D centers in Greece, and also we have the COSCO-run port development hub, which is another, let's say, mini project of COSCO, of having hubs around the port in order to have the transportation of the things, of the goods that come in with the containers. Greece values very much the significant contribution of Chinese investments to its GDP growth and to its efforts to overcome its recent severe economic crisis. Also, we welcome Chinese enterprises to continue to invest in Greece, and at the same time we support Greek companies developing in the Chinese market. In today's volatile international environment, as I mentioned in the beginning of my speech, due to the negative effects of the COVID-19 plus other factors, Greece is still shining as a beacon of stability in our region, highlighting significant advantages for people and investors to come and invest and, of course, be present in our country. Before closing my remarks and my speech, I would like to say that the Chinese market as agricultural market for Greek products, Greek traditional products, as you know, we have, let's say, olive oil, cheeses, honey, and so many things, and many products are very similar to Bulgarian products. It's a very important market, and we do believe that we're going to develop it soon in a much more better way. I would like to thank you for your time, and I hope the cooperation will be strong, and also I would like to say that I would like this conference to be a success. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mikas, for sharing, outlining the big perspective on the cooperation platform. You mentioned two very important things: the untapped potential for the development cooperation between countries of Central and Eastern Europe, including Greece, with China in the field of climate change and green energy. And Greece is doing a lot in these terms, in developing green energy projects. Also, the joint project between Greece and China in the field of in infrastructural development and commercial transactions. And of course, the most important, as we understand, the coastal shipping, the investment that China has made in the Greek economy is very important. The untapped potential in the field of agriculture. We very much support the institutional involvement of Greek government in the development of the Center for Cooperation between Central and Eastern Europe and China, here based in Sofia, and the participation in the events. So, thank you once again. Now, it's my very pleasure to pass on the floor to Ms. Livia Chivu, Counselor at the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development of the Republic of Romania. Romania has a long tradition of relations with China and is also an active supporter and participant in the initiative.
Dear participants, it is a great honor and pleasure to me to be here today and to speak on behalf of my country in this meeting. Congratulations on this initiative. Agriculture has been and continues to be a sector of many importance in Romania as for the contribution to the economy as a share of the employed population, and for this reason a source of hopes and disillusionment alike. Permanently subject to evaluation and analysis are based on its natural potential and the population expectation for agriculture to quickly adjust its structures under the influence of the common agricultural policy by facilitating the financing of the system, including the necessary investments for growth. The expectation of our society related to the proper functioning of the agri-food sector, regardless of the challenges given by the ongoing crisis, COVID, Ukraine, climate change, are also the wishes of those who work in this field to receive the necessary solution at affordable costs. The global concern for ensuring quality products at reasonable prices in parallel with maintaining the competitiveness of the agri-food sector can find a solution through projects that interconnect sectors and territories with the potential to positively influence economic development. Fundamental and applied research will certainly bring improvements in the quality of products and their adaptability to climate change, favorably influencing farmers' income. That's why we believe that multi-country cooperation will have a positive effect on commercial and scientific exchanges. In this meaning, we propose that in the next period we meet in our countries farmers, scientists, experts to exchange good practices and establish partnerships based on our interest. Through their activity, farmers identify adapted solutions that can be shared and form the basis for conducting studies by researchers in the field. Their problems need solutions based on scientific studies and the support of the experts in the ministry through an adaptation of the legislation norms and, as the case may be, the granting of proper funding. Sometimes a field visit or to a processing facility in our countries can lay the foundation for collaboration and generate ideas that can be adopted by other operators in their area, so that our vast experience from 15 countries is as well understood and used. I take advantage of the proposed agenda for today that gives us the opportunity to review the steps taken, how we can contribute in the next stage to better collaboration, and to consider a legitimate interest in maintaining and developing trade exchanges. Diversification of bilateral cooperation in the field of agriculture represent priority objectives of our concerns aimed to consolidate and deepen traditional relations. Your initiative connects the population of our countries, 1.6 billion people, who will feel both the economic benefits and the positive effects that our cooperation brings culturally strengthening friendly relations. Our today meeting shows our determination for sustainable economic development with benefits in all involved sectors, infrastructures, jobs, activities related to the agricultural sector and the food industry. Also, our involvement demonstrates that not only a high interest in this process, but also the determination of each of us to identify the best solution for economic and commercial cooperation. At technical level, we collaborated to put into practice the priorities established since 2020, together with the Chinese experts. They mainly are referring to promotion of agri-food products, in particular those of animal origin, solving the problems related to the export of frozen pork meat, facilitating the export of processed meat products, sheep, pork, poultry and beef, bovine salmon, milk and milk products, fish and fish products, alfalfa and honey. The establishment of our association is a valid framework for implementing clear and effective tools to help our economies to develop. Therefore, we contribute to the conclusion of transactions with agricultural products on the win-win principle, as well to attract and make new investments based on the same principle. The association database provides valuable information, but it is still not sufficiently adapted to the fast rhythm of information expected by economic operators. As follows, we consider that a specific discussion in a meeting with the economic operators from the database, but also willing to enter into commercial relation in this format, is a solution both for the private environment and for us as experts to ensure the necessary documents, sanitary, veterinary, and phytosanitary, so that the commercial exchanges can be carried out. Our activity started in Romania in 2014 at the same edition of the Agricultural Forum, organized for the first time in Europe. We appreciate the activity of our colleagues from Bulgaria who ensure the good functioning of the association and who organize events in this format of interest to us. Although this activity is not quite new, or even at the beginning, we can quantify the results. At this year's meeting, I look forward to hearing your intervention, which I will share with my colleagues, and I'm sure that will be for sure information that can be used by some Romanian operators who are still waiting for their approach to carry it out and the quality of their products to be appreciated by consumers from our countries. We believe that the achievement so far demonstrates mutual trust in our technical expertise, and the quality of our products provide a solid basis for intensifying our efforts to expand the scope of cooperation. Romania has taken important steps to make capital out of the potential of cooperation with the People's Republics of China. We encourage the participation of economic entities from Romania to the fairs organized in China, and in 2014 at the Agri-Food exhibition in Hefei, for the first time, companies from our country exhibited products and gave presentations. The bilateral legal framework was completed with the signing in 2013 of the protocol on the quarantine and health requirements for frozen pork intended for export from Romania to China, and the protocol on the requirements for breeding cattle intended for export from Romania to the People's Republic of China, which constitutes the support for trade in products of animal origin. The programs to promote Romanian wine in China were highly appreciated. At the same time, due to the cooperation in this format, the relation between China and Romania has become more complete. The China, Central and Eastern European Cooperation Format, in parallel with the European Union-China Strategic Cooperation Framework and the European Union-China High-Level Dialogue for Innovation, represent important tools for capitalizing on opportunities for promoting mutual economic interests. Agriculture, for all of us, is a priority and is one of the most resources that we have today and we must develop. Although the world economic context is particularly complex, the relation between China and the countries of Central and Eastern Europe are good, but they do not fully reflect the real potential of economic cooperation. Together, today, we have the opportunity to review achievements and problems and offer solutions to our wishes, agriculture being an industry that can contribute to the development of many other related activities, which contribute to providing jobs and building a modern rural environment. The success of today's event depends on our involvement in discussions and then in action through concrete partnership. Last but not least, I want to mention that the very good cooperation in the field of research between our countries, with funding for the transfer of know-how alongside the funds for investment to modernize our farms in the vegetable and animal husbandry fields. In conclusion, I would like to emphasize that through this whole process in which our countries have taken part, we have the chance to change the history of recent years and establish new bases for cooperation between Europe and Asia, which will lead to benefit for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chivu. Thank you for your speech and for outlining some major issues that concern participation of Romania in the initiative, the relations between China and Romania, and the important role the agricultural sector plays in the development of economic development of Romania as well. And now finally, with equal pleasure, I would like to invite Professor Bojan Lalic, Director of Serbia Belt and Road Research Institute. Belgrade-based BR Institute was founded as an innovative international think tank in February 2022, with the support of government of Serbia. In fact, I was lucky and honored to take part in the first inauguration conference of the BR Institute this year that took place under the motto Sustainability for Joint Future and brought together policy experts from Asia, Europe, China, Africa with the idea of fostering common vision for economic, cultural, scientific, innovative growth and sustainable development for countries alongside the Belt and Road Initiative. So please, the floor is yours.
So I will really try to use less time so we can have a break in a short. Your Excellencies, dear Mr. Katranjir, dear friends, dear researchers and colleagues from the research institutes, from the government side, and from all different countries. I heard today many inspiring speeches and the overview of the situation in the last 10 years. Actually, we consider this 16 plus 1, 17 plus 1, 15 plus 1, and so on and so on. Actually, China CEE cooperation as a kind of, if I may say, pilot project for the Belt and Road Initiative. And the first question I heard last couple of days after the 20th Congress of the Communist Party in China was, is the Belt and Road Initiative dead or is it in a crisis? Definitely it's not. Definitely it's the organization of the countries, union of the countries that is rising and sending new information to all of us. Actually, if I may say, that in my work up until now, I couldn't say I can put my signature on most of the words I heard from the distinguished President's message. But today, I can put my signature on all words I heard, which is very interesting. So, we learned from the Congress, actually we are coming here right after we finished the second think tank in Belgrade with the topic of reflections of the 20th Congress of the Communist Party of China. And for us it's very important to organize think tank in the moment when things are happening. It's important to learn what's going on in some key moments in the geostrategic happenings in the world. As one of movie directors from Serbia recently said, what's happening in the Ukraine is not the beginning of war, it's the end of war. The crisis is lasting for some time, and usually when we see some escalation, it's the end of the long path of the problems. But what we need to do is to understand that big Belt and Road Initiative that is driving the story of the Belt and Road Institute in Belgrade started in 2013. And right up till now, we have to understand the transformation, what's going on, how we reach the 149 countries nowadays that are joined the Belt and Road Initiative and 32 organizations worldwide. And now we learned from the Congress that there are very strong funds behind. Asia International Investment Fund, Belt and Road Fund, funds that will support the development of the biggest infrastructural projects and others. What is very important also is to understand that Belt and Road Initiative is quite well adopting new initiatives like Global Development Initiative started by President Xi Jinping, but also Agenda 2030 launched by United Nations. So all those things are connecting the development and the story about the development of nations, countries, and so on. The most beautiful thing is that we in Belgrade learned in the last couple of days many things about different partners. We were guests yesterday, actually, to the embassy of Pakistan in Belgrade, speaking about the biggest projects, because in Serbia and Pakistan there are great investments from China, but also from the Belt and Road. Also, we spoke with the professors and researchers from Kenya, from Africa, and we are starting a cooperation with them as well, again with the story about sustainability and so on and so on. When I'm speaking about sustainability, I would like to share that with you. It's not the footprint, it's not the carbon emission only. There are many other things. It's about the sustainability of development of relations, of opening the opportunities. Sustainability means sustainable business, sustainable life, sustainable social development. Not only those things that we are mentioning every day, it's sustainability and environment protection and so on. That's important. But also it's important today when we are learning a lot about geopolitics and everything, that you need to open the maneuver place for your business, for your politics, for your society, and all other things. And that's, I think, very important thing. So the Belt and Road Institute is in Belgrade is opened and supported by United Nations Development Program. We started working with United Nations Development Program, and now that project is finished, but Institute is launched very successfully, and we are continuing in our development. Most of the things that we are covering, I will share with you a couple slides about the Institute later, are connected with the people-to-people bonds, because those are the roots of everything what we are doing nowadays. Also, this very vibrant slide, we cannot keep the pace with the changing, as it was mentioned before about Baltic countries, if they are in the mechanism or not, but I'm definitely convinced that they will rejoin, or they will stay in all positive initiatives in the world. It's sad that somebody is leaving, I heard today. Yes, it is sad, but I think the saddest thing is if it's not only your decision. That's something we would like to support, that every country is supposed to bring and build their own, if I may say, decisions where to join and where not to join. I spent a lot of time and had some chance to speak together with the former president of Latvia and many ministers there, and in Estonia as well, Lithuania also. I'm not so convinced that the idea of leaving Central East European cooperation with China is something that is their decision right now. But we'll see, the time will show us that. Is it the opportunity for countries? Yes, it is. Is it harming something about our development of countries? No, it's not harming. It's something that is just opening the opportunities. Recently, I heard, not recently, but all the time I heard a lot of discussions that the pace of development of cooperation between China and Central East European countries is not so high, it's not so vibrant and so on. So what's the point to leave it if it's not so vibrant, if it's not so speed? But in Serbia, we must say it is very fast. That cooperation is fast, let's say 200 kilometers per hour that we are using today in traveling in between Belgrade and Novi Sad. And we hope very soon to travel between Belgrade and Budapest, but also to the Greece with that speed. It opens business opportunities. It opens society, making new friendships opportunities, not only building infrastructure or some political decisions. So we are happy to share that our position is somehow in the middle of the Central East European countries, and we offer this opportunity to all Central East European countries as a hub for the cooperation, all together, but also with China. Also, we like to say that we are somehow European Shenzhen, a special economic zone due to the different relations with different unions, and this year we hope to finally sign the special agreement with China. So, since I shared with you many things you already know, I would like only to share with you some slides. I will leave the presentation, of course, for the all participants, but those are some, let's say, proofs that we are a hub and we would like to continue being a hub. Like, we organized 5th China CEE Education Policy Dialogue and 4th China CEE Higher Education Institution Consortium. And the feedback from those events that happened in Novi Sad, feedback from that event was that we were awarded as the 2018 Best Partner of China Education Association for International Exchange. And we used that chance to make closer 78 universities from Central East Europe and China. And now we are cooperating with most of them very successfully, with a strong one. I will share the presentation, I promise. So, otherwise, there are 86 slides. We will last too long. We started with the IMBA, the first IMBA with Xianjiao Tong University, which is a very important university for us because in 2017 and right until now, it's one of the best management schools in China. And now we are starting the double degree MBA, because we need to understand international business. We need to understand how things are going on. Then we organized a high-level meeting of the coordination mechanism for cooperation in forestry between China and CEE countries. Also, we organized a summit of transport ministers of China and 16 countries. Then the last one before COVID crisis was the China CEE Conference on Innovation Cooperation in Belgrade in October 2019, right before the big crisis. What is the motto and the idea why we need to stay together and to learn? We learned from President Xi that the pandemic situation was not, nobody was able to handle that situation alone. So we need to work together and we need to learn together. And my professor, who created the school where I'm coming from, because I'm a scholar and researcher at the University of Novi Sad, Professor Dragutin Zelenovic, who was also the Prime Minister of Serbia and the professor in the industrial engineering field, he said that the society where the rate of learning is lower than the rate of change cannot survive. The rate of learning, we have to learn faster than the changes are coming. In the pandemic situation, in Industry 4.0, we learned about Industry 4.0 and the guys are speaking about Industry 5.0. And I'm afraid that tomorrow morning, when we come back to Belgrade, we will have Industry 6.0, 7.0. And nobody knows what does it mean, but you know, we need that hype. Okay, but we have to learn. We have to be stable in learning. About Belt and Road Institute, I will just show because I think I used my time, the major axes for our work: industrial cooperation, future think tanks, innovation, academia, culture, and disaster relief. So those are the axes that Institute is working on. In academia, we are organizing summer schools, winter academies, AI research networks, exchange of students, exchange of staff, scholarships, joint programs, research. We created a joint virtual lab for future education technologies between China and Central East European countries, because virtual labs are something that is bringing us a new future in the research. Then in innovation, it's acceleration projects, startups, then we in Serbia still don't have a first unicorn, the $1 billion worth startup, so we are dealing for that. Digital transformation. Future think tank is very important because today we are here because we learned in the past about our countries, about the cooperation. When we speak with the colleagues from China, they remember Yugoslavia and so on. But what about the future think tanks? We need to nurture talents, young guys that have to understand the benefits of working together. So this is very important acts in a Belt and Road Institute Belgrade field of work. Then disaster relief. To be honest, this slide is the youngest one, and it emerged from 2020 crisis. And we learned also that we have to have contingency plan, how to deal with a tough situation. Now we have 3 labs opened by jointly with the researchers from China that will help us in the future for different situations, but reminding us on the pandemic danger. Industry cooperation as well. We have some companies in the region that are operating from China, so we need to work together with them, to help them in R&D, to connect them with academia. They are providers of the scholarship for the researchers to go to China and to come to Serbia and to work together. For example, we send a group of professors from Faculty of Technology to China to learn and to prepare themselves to open, together with the Shandong Linglong company, research for rubber technologies center and the lab. And that's funny. Nobody's speaking about that. And Linglong is the company with the very interesting situation. We never saw in the history that some company that is still not opened was so many times attacked in media for different reasons. So it's something that is ridiculous. While they're opening a lab in Serbia together with us. Of course, a story about social responsibility, about connections, logistics, and so on and so on. Those are things that are very important. Culture is, of course, the environment where we want to do and to develop in the future. I will share only one more slide. So this is the slide that shows what is the structure of the Institute. 33% of the Institute is owned by the government of Serbia, so it means less than 51%. Then 25% goes to the Serbian Chamber of Commerce, 9% to the University of Novi Sad, and 33% for the big companies operating on a Belt and Road. So this is the structure of pretty interesting institute, because when we are in the think tank, we're supposed not to be the governmental body, definitely. So these are some events, but I will skip that, and I will thank you once more for your attention, and I hope we brought together some interesting topics to be discussed in the future, at least open some fields that we would like to share with you in development of cooperation. As I said, we just came back from the, think tank about the reflections of the Chinese Communist Party Congress recently finished, and we were very privileged that we had on the opening part the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Serbia and the words from the Vice Minister of the Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China. And of course, many important researchers from many countries like Cambodia, Laos, Kenya, Malaysia, Indonesia, Pakistan, and so on. And of course, regional researchers. So thank you once more for the opportunity to share with you the idea how the cooperation is supposed to go, and the way how we see the Central East European cooperation with China. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Lalic, for your down-to-earth and forward-looking speech and presentation of the mission, goals, and activities of the Belt and Road Institute. Definitely the Institute will contribute to bringing the synergy between the Belt and Road Initiative and the platform, cooperation platform between China and Central and Eastern Europe. I was really impressed by what you mentioned. Sustainability is not only a carbon item, it's not only about lowering greenhouse gas emission. Sustainability is about social development, human interaction, new business opportunities. And one more thing, you mentioned about the highways that is being built between Belgrade and Novi Sad. It is not just an infrastructural project, but is also an opportunity to bring people together. I think this is a very important aspect for the development of relations between Central and Eastern Europe and China. Another thing, 7-8 universities of Central and Eastern Europe are brought closer to China through the educational policy dialogues. So I wish success to the Belt and Road Institute and now, just a few final comments on my part. It has been very enlightening sessions with the high-level representatives from Central and Eastern European countries, providing their perspectives on how they see the development of the initiative. There is an untapped potential. Sorry? Приключвам. I see. I just heard that we have to continue. Are you strong enough to follow the business presentations now without coffee break? Perhaps, I know we are late, but people are too tired. I mean, we're more than 2 hours, I think. Maybe just a few minutes? 5 minutes, yeah, 5 minutes. 5 minutes just to get refreshed before we. Okay, so I'm finalizing there. Just my final words that there is an untapped potential for the development of the initiative. So we are recessing for 5 minutes and then we're coming back for our business case session and that's it for now. business practices between China and countries of Central and Eastern Europe. After the ending of the official part of the opening, we continue in a more relaxed working manner. I would like to invite the representative from the winery Vinprom Svishtov, Mr. Trajan Rusev, to make his presentation. Please, Mr. Rusev, the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear organizers, dear guests, it's a pleasure for me to be here and to tell you our success story. As you understood, we are a winery which is based in the north part of Bulgaria, right on the Danube coast. So I just want to... I'm sorry. Thank you. So our winery is based in the north part of Bulgaria. It is placed right on the Danube plain. I make a small map for you just to show you where our winery is situated. As you can see, we're right on the border between Romania and Bulgaria. And our location gives us the opportunity to enjoy the moderate continental climate conditions, which is very important for our vineyards. This means that during the vegetation period of our vines, we enjoy temperatures of 25 to 32 degrees during the day and from 12 to 15 degrees during the night. This is giving us, it's giving our grapes This is giving our grapes the opportunity to preserve its freshness and to keep a high level of acidity during the night and ripe over during the day, while keeping a high level of sugar. So just to give you an idea about what we do, our vineyards, we grow in total 400 hectares of vineyards. And the most interesting part for it is that it is divided on 2 big vineyards. Each one of them is about 200 hectares. The varietals that we grow from the whites is Chardonnay, Riesling, Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Gris, Fourmint, and Grunel Veltliner. From the reds, it's the well-known Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noir, and our local, so to say, red star, we call it the Gamza. So we grow mostly international varietals so that we can later offer to our customers different choice of wines that we make. So the next slide is just to give you an idea about our story. In fact, our winery was created in 1950, but the documentation that we start for it is since 1970. So we have a very old tradition. In 1970, there was a mass production of inexpensive wines targeted to Eastern markets. And during this period, Bulgaria was the 4th largest producer of wine in the world. In the period of 1980 until 1990, we were the second, Bulgaria was the second largest wine exporter, just after France. We were exporting our wines to Western European markets like Great Britain, the Netherlands, Scandinavia, West Germany in this time, and Japan. From 1990 until 2003, there was the market liberalization, and Bulgaria lost guaranteed markets. And in 2007, there was the entry of Bulgaria into the European Union, which opened new doors for us. Next slide is about our production. We have a very specific location on the coast of the Danube River, and we have the opportunity to grow our vineyards on a very fruitful soils with a very moderate climate conditions. This is making our vineyard strong and with a very nice potential. We every year defend and uphold constant quality of our vineyards. In fact, our winery is one of the first producers of rosé wines in Bulgaria. Just to give you an idea of our production, our total capacity production is, from our own vineyards, is about 3 million liters of wine, which is about 4 million bottles. In 2011, we started very big renovation of the winery, and we're still doing it. We're trying to keep modern and to improve our production capacity every year. So we dispose with the modern equipment for grape vinification. We have about 120 tanks for fermentation and aging of grapes. Each tank has its own capacity from 10,000 to 30,000 liters. Every tank is temperature controlled. This gives us the opportunity to temperature control the fermentation. We dispose with a modern bottling line with a capacity of 3,000 bottles per hour. Our line is really modern and has the possibility of washing bottles, putting labels, and putting in carton cases. But of course, our main capital are the people working with us, because they keep attention, they keep precision of what they do. And here I brought two of them. Mr. Engineer Tikhomir Petrov is our chief winemaker, and Dr. Mrs. Irina Pavlova. They're behind our beautiful wines that you have later in the evening to taste. So I'll be a little bit shorter with my presentation because we don't have time. Just to say a few words about our wines. We have 3 main lines of wines. Our basic wines, it's the Aureus wines. It consists of 8 pure varietal wines. After that, we have our Ligio wines. These are mainly for export markets, and they won a lot of awards on the world wine competitions that we participate every year. After that, we have the Gorchivka wines. It's a famous brand for Bulgaria, and in our language, this means bitter, but not because the wine is bitter, but because of the place where the grapes are coming from. Okay, I'll skip next slide. Just to, like I already told you, we try to implement our quality and try to keep our constant high quality of wines. Therefore, we send every year our wines to international wine competitions. And like example, for the last 4 years, we received the big wine trophy from a wine competition in Berlin, Germany. It is called Berliner Wine Trophy. We received the Best Producer from Bulgaria award for the last 4 years, 2019, 20, 21, and 22. In fact, this is the largest wine competition in the world, approved by the OIV. This is the organization of vine and wine, and it is very strictly controlled. Like I said, the results of the competitions are privately sent to a large amount of wine buyers worldwide, and after each award we received, we are directly contacted by the buyers. In 2019, we were participating in Pro Wine in Shanghai, and we established good relations to a lot of potential buyers, but unfortunately, after that, it started the COVID crisis, and we are still evolving on this market. So, yeah, this is another award we received in Daejeon in Korea. It's for our wine Legio Merlot. We received the Grand Gold Medal. Like I said, we're very flexible in terms of packaging and branding. We have different packages meeting the needs of our customers. Like example, we're one of the first wineries bottling wines in cans. It's aluminum cans. We also do the bag-in-box packaging, and of course it's our usual glass bottle packaging. So my last slide would be for the strategic market opportunities that we have. And I believe that we have a lot of things to do, not only for the Asian, but also for the Central European market. We try to constantly do market research with help of local companies to see the possibilities of the market. We try to establish a new image for Bulgaria, like a new old country, because Bulgaria is well known with the wines. But we now have a new image. And of course, the participation in local wine fairs and competitions. We try to develop products for niche marketing. We try to create our icon wines. And of course, we try to keep our constant quality. Of course, using the image of Bulgaria like a new tourist hotspot is also very helpful. So this was from me. Like I said, you have the opportunity to later taste our wines during the evening. And I would like you to thank you for your attention and to wish you cheers. And see you later. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Rusev, for presenting the opportunities of the secrets and opportunities of the wine production in Christoph Winery, a winery with traditions. And we do hope that you will establish contacts with potential buyers in China after complete ending of the pandemic. Now I would like to invite Mrs. Irina Beleva from the Bulgarian-China Business Development Association. And I would like to let you know that Mrs. Irina Beleva is a great supporter of the initiative, and she is a former General Counsel in Shanghai for a certain period of time. So, Mrs. Beleva, the floor is yours.
Excellencies, distinguished organizers, Dr. Stanishev, dear guests, it gives me greatest pleasure today to attend the conference and share all my thoughts and experience on this great occasion for the 10th anniversary of the China Central Eastern European Countries Initiative. Where are we? What have we done? I hope that my presentation will open some, let me check this one, yeah, okay. We'll open discussion today and tonight. Presently, I am stationed in Plovdiv, and it gives me greatest pleasure to introduce Plovdiv as the second biggest city of Bulgaria.
supported by the local government, and it's one of the greatest example of public-private partnership, how government and public sector and private sector can work together. In 2010, the Bulgarian-Chinese Business Association was created, and it was actually the public and the private sector that decided to move on in all initiatives and investments across Europe. Actually, in 2011, when I first went to China to assume my duties as Consul General of the Republic of Bulgaria to Shanghai, we were very, very surprised and enthusiastically adopted the 16+1 initiative that really awakened, frankly speaking, our economies, which had the potential but need some impetus. I remember the first verbal note that we received at the consulate, and it was with the greatest enthusiasm that we embraced all the Bulgarian producers that are willing to risk, all the Chinese private companies and the local government in East China. I was actually responsible for 6 provinces in booming East China. It needed a great work, but with the support of the local Chinese government and actually with the support of the Bulgarian associations, not only the Bulgarian Business Development Association, but also with all other Bulgarian private and state chambers of commerce, we managed to do something. Frankly speaking, it was the start of many, many Bulgarian products that started to be exported to China. So I sincerely welcome that initiative, and now when we mark the 10th anniversary of the Central Eastern European Countries initiative, I could say that that was impetus for our exports to China. And sincerely hope that after the COVID, after that slowdown of the mutual and multilateral relations, we can all learn our lessons and can move on with the new global initiatives and the new global chances and opportunities that the initiative gives us. Actually, later on in 2013, when the One Belt, One Road initiative was launched, that was much bigger framework for our countries to develop. So it was not only the Bulgarian Business Chinese Development Association, but also the private sector's initiative that helped do something in Bulgaria along all the guidelines that were set up by the Chinese government. Plovdiv is actually one of the oldest cities in Europe and one of the welcoming cities in along the Belt and Road Initiative and the CEE China cooperation. We have done many events, not only in China but also in Plovdiv. Since 2011 till 2015, while I was in China, I have been promoting the export of Bulgarian products, mainly agricultural products, to China, and the establishment later on of the Center for the Cooperation between China and Central Eastern European countries in the sphere of agriculture was really one of the greatest achievement and proposal that the initiative has done. Many Bulgarian producers have never exported their products before. It was not only people-to-people exchange that were developed, it was also the educational exchange, also many other ideas. I could bravely say it was mainly ideas in real investments to Bulgaria. But when there is a real support on the side of the government and the trust of the private sector that something can be done, things can really happen. Just a few slides from the establishment of the Bulgarian Chinese Business Development Association, which is actually supported by the Thracia Economic Zone. It is a huge area that really has the potential and has welcomed many European investments. So we sincerely hope that the China government and the Chinese companies will really venture, I could say venture, and do not be afraid to come to a country that's still out of Schengen without any direct flights, but with really welcoming attitude and the power to welcome investment and really guide it. The Bulgarian Chinese Business Development Association is really one of this kind. Just some slides, sorry, that can... Would you please help me? Move on, yes, yeah. Some investments. Actually, Plovdiv is situated almost at the very center of Bulgaria with all the infrastructure and connections. It's really blessed to be at the very center and move on with the initiatives. Plovdiv has hosted meetings of the governors in 16+1 twice in Plovdiv in 2016, 2017, and there were many other regional events with universities, with agricultural sector that really brought the idea how to do business with China and be brave, understand your partner. Some slides. And later on, after the summit in 2018 in Sofia, after the high-level summit, we decided to create Euro-Chinese Economic Development Zone along the Belt and Road. Bulgaria is actually the closest country to China, but it's still not blessed with the best infrastructure. So that project actually aims at creating all the conveniences for the China investors and be #1 partner in the investment and exports from Bulgaria to China. Later on, the project grew into more, more developed and adapted to the needs during COVID of the investors. So the project was developed into new smart city plus logistics center 16+1, and one of its main advantages is that it's really near the airport. Plovdiv Airport actually had 2 tenders, and we are still very, very hopeful that there is a chance to develop the idea of really make a smart city with all the logistics conveniences for the investors. I would like to show you with the help of the Center for the Development of Cooperation in Agricultural Products. In 2016 was opened e-hub for products, and also, you can see the slide, e-hub for products and actual exhibition of all the products, main products that are exported and produced in Plovdiv. Plovdiv region is actually really blessed with good agricultural conditions for production of agriculture, foodstuffs, yogurt, all the food and ingredients that are really appealed for the Chinese taste. Actually, the export of the agricultural products also saw a very, very long way of adapting to the Chinese, to the needs of the Chinese market. I mean, the package, you have also seen the wines, the package of the cosmetics exported from Plovdiv region really needed more luxurious lookout. Also, the food had to be adopted to the Chinese taste, but that was done because the Bulgarian producers really appreciated the market, the new market, and that saved most of the companies during COVID. Actually, one of the main difficulty was the Chinese language. Yeah. And later on, we included also cultural events, and I would like here once again to thank Mr. Hong Hai, the new director of the China Cultural Center in Sofia, who did one of his events in Plovdiv, and we welcome the China Cultural Center to do the next event for the Chinese New Year in Plovdiv. People are welcoming those meetings with the Chinese cultures. They embrace, they give new ideas, and it's actually the spirit that we all have to venture. And during such platforms and initiatives like 16+1, we have to be more brave and assess what we have and what we have not done. Though the Chinese project for the reconstruction of the Plovdiv airport was not successful, we are still focusing on new projects like smart cities, like robot development, also IT investment in the Plovdiv region with the help of the Chinese Business Development Association and the Thracia Economic Zone. So we focus on the new global challenges. It's the digitalization of our work, the production, and the solar production. It's implementation in the new recovery plan of Bulgaria. And I would like just another minute to give you some interesting facts about Bulgarian investments into China. I remember when I first visited China in 1990, there were Bulgarian public investments to China. All of them, starting 1980 till the year of 2000, all were bankrupt. That's a good lesson to learn. It's a good lesson for us compared to other public investments that China has done abroad and that other companies have done. So the Bulgarian investment to China of yogurt, of rose cream, of juice, also of lifting trucks in Tianjin, of the other investment, it was small scale from Botevgrad, of the printing machines. All that gives us a very good lesson that we should learn our lessons and protect also our investments abroad. It's no way, no chance, no opportunity to recover afterwards. Now, in the new situation, we can proudly present, and it was also with the help of the Bulgarian Consulate General in Shanghai, that we welcome the Tianjin State Farm Agricultural Business Corporation to Bulgaria, especially to Plovdiv, and the region into Plovdiv to stay, to develop their investment in Bulgaria. That was done, that's also another example of the public and private, how they can meet and struggle to remain, retain, and appreciate what's done. And last, that photo was made in 2015. We hope to be young, with new ideas, appreciate what we have done, move together, and develop the Bulgarian-Chinese business relations, the multilateral relations, share what we have done, and really struggle and make new contributions in the new global situation. Thank you for your attention. Hope to meet every one of you and share, when I have much more time, about Bulgaria, China, and 16+1 initiative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Beleva. Because we are really running short of time, I will be very fast with our next two speakers. I would like to invite our next speaker. Let me just check. Ilya Yordanov, he's from Ondo. This is a startup, actually. Yes, Ilya, please. Una secunda.
The PDF, да.
Okay. That's better. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present at this event here. As I was presented, my name is Ilya Yordanov and I'm co-founder and CEO of Ondo Smart Farming Solution. Ondo is a company, almost 3 years old. It's entirely Bulgarian company, and we have chosen to work in a sector which is not very popular for the majority of startups, not only in Bulgaria but worldwide. And today I would like to talk about sustainable farming in a profitable way. And when I say sustainable, I don't mean only sustainable from economical point of view, but also from environmental point of view. And why profitable way? Because usually the environmental sustainability is connected to losses for the farmers, which is common way of thinking. So let's start first with the challenges the farmers are facing nowadays. Here are the 4 challenges as reported by the farmers themselves. The first challenge is the lack of qualified labor force. There are no workers in the agriculture, and especially skilled workers. This is huge problems for the farmers, and they are in constant struggle to find workers nowadays. And what is the result? They have to hire unqualified workers, and they have to train them, teach them, and along this process they are making a lot of mistakes, which costs time, losses, and other losses for the farmers. The other problem is the inefficient use of water. Due to the climate change and human activities, the water is becoming more and more scarce resource, which means that it's coming at higher prices and in different quantities for the farmers. The third problem is related to the fertilizers. Due to the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, the supply chain for fertilizers has been disrupted. And what is the effect? The effect is that the farmers have no predictability when they can have their fertilizers on the price. And this, combined with the increasing price of the natural gas, leads to more expensive fertilizers. And the 4th challenge and the bottom line is actually low yield, or sometimes no yield at all for the farmers. And they have to act now, and they are aware of this. Let me explain what the current situation of farm is at the moment. This is a regular farm. There is no mouse, but this is a regular farm with 1 greenhouse, 2 open fields. Currently, the farmers have to operate all the equipment related to irrigation or the climate control in the greenhouse, as you can see it, manually, which means that the farmer has to be on site, or he has to call someone to make some activity like start the irrigation, open the vents on the roof in the greenhouse. But this is very not transparent, opaque process, and very time-consuming, inconvenient, and last but not least, expensive. Ideally, farmers might have some automation for some parts of the process, but the majority of the things, the majority of the activities are done manually for the moment. And what is the key? What is the direction that this can be changed? It's a precise agriculture. This is not a new concept, of course. The precision farming means to know when, how much, and what to put in your farm. And this is how we are actually helping. This is the same farm, but with the integration of our product Ondo. What we are doing, we are developing a hardware and software solution which automates routine tasks for irrigation, fertigation, and climate control for open fields and greenhouses. This is in a nutshell what we are doing. And in that case, you can see everything, every sign that is written Ondo is part of our solution. Let me zoom in. Our solution is mainly consists of this controller, the Shield 1 box. The shield-like looking box is our controller. It is connected to all the equipment that should be controlled in the farm and monitored, like irrigation pumps, sensors, and all kind of other equipment. For the greenhouse, it is the vents on the roof, the circulation fans, and other equipment. Next to it, the small device is a wireless box which is deployed on the field. So when an irrigation valve or sensors need to be in a bigger distance, they can be connected to our main computer wirelessly. And at the end, you can see this, the computer interface. This is where everything gets connected. The farmers have the opportunity to see, monitor, and control, and also program, schedule, and the irrigations programs from this software, which is accessible from their computer, from their mobile phone. So it gives the control of the farm in the hands, it puts the control of the farm in the hands of the farmers, so they can see everything which is happening and when and how much and how far. And these are the results our farmers are reporting. These are numbers provided by our farmers. These are numbers provided by our customers. The integration of our system, the automation solution, reduces the needed human labor with up to 30% and almost eliminates the human errors, because humans are not involved into starting or stopping the tasks. They are executing as they're programmed. And believe me, it's very easy to be done. Additionally, we reduce the water burn up to 30% thanks to the smart irrigation, sensors and other logic we are using. The used water is reduced by up to 30%. The fertilizers are also reduced by 20% because we are injecting the fertilizers in the water very precisely. And this is a control process which we use different sensors to monitor and control this. And it's much easier and better than humans and faster. And the result is increase of the crop with up to 20%, but keep in mind that this percentage depends on the baseline of the farm. Where was the farm actually before the installation of Ondo? These numbers can be even higher if the farm didn't have a drip irrigation before this. So the increase of the crop, for example, of maize, may be up to two times, so 200%. And in order to boil down everything to one number, what we say is that integrating an automation solution increases the profit margin for the farmers with up to 30%. So if they had profit of, let's say €1 per kilogram of their production, they can have €1.30 for the same production. And how we are different, because we are a startup, we have to differentiate ourselves from the competition. Two things are important here. First is that we are entirely cloud-based. It's not the controller is on the field, but everything is in the cloud. We are entirely connected. The farmers have complete access to their farm from anywhere, anytime, 24/7, from their mobile phone or from their computer. which is great for us because it allows us to make updates to make the system even better without having the need to visit the farm on our own. And the second difference is that we are subscription only. This means that the alternative solution, the competitive solution, are starting from 15,000 euro or more. We have collected a lot of quotations, and the price is ranging from 15 to 40,000 euro for one and the same things depending on the provider. And how we are changing this? We actually make a change here which is very dramatic for the farmer. The farmer doesn't have to invest anything up front. They just have to start paying a sum which is probably about 300, 500, 600 euro a month. It's a subscription based, and they can have the system immediately now, which is very helpful because the majority of the farmers are skeptical by default to new technologies, and they want to have the option to try the system before making huge investment. And this is how we're actually helping them. And the farmers are more eager to lose a profit instead to make a loss. So the farmers need to be, the farmers' way of thinking has to be addressed. And what's next? Two things are important here to mention. As I said, precision agriculture is something that is a concept that exists. It gives the farmers the control of their farm in their hands, but the new thing that is happening in the last years is actually smart agriculture. What is the difference? This another layer on top of the precision farming, which actually doesn't give only the information, but also is responsible to taking the decisions instead of the farmer. But as I said, farmers are conservatives and very conservative way of thinking. They do not want to lose the control. So this problem is not a technical problem. This concept should address the farmers' way of thinking, as I said. And the other thing is that we as a company, although we are growing at the moment, so we are looking for partners around the world that can help us grow and deliver and install this system in as much places around the world as possible, which has, as I said, impact for the farmers, positive, and impact for the environment. Okay, so I think that's everything for the moment. I'm going to leave you with a couple of words from our farmers from Bulgaria, Greece, and North Macedonia around us. And if you have any questions, I'm available after the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Mr. Ilya Yordanov for introducing to us integrated automated solutions, the precision farming, the smart agriculture, the problems that are facing the farmers now. Katerina Karakehaya from CO Tablespoon is going to make her presentation.
Just 1 second. Yeah. This also.
Hello. I'm from Greece, so we'll start with the irony that I am here to talk to you about food, and I am the only thing separating you from food, so we'll make this very short. Before I begin, thank you very much to the organizer, Dr. Stanishev, for inviting me to attend the conference and to present to the esteemed attendants. Tablespoon is a shop in Greek, mainly from Greek products, in the center of Sofia at 75 Knyaz Boris. Is a modern grocery store, fresh baked pastries and coffee, and it's the pickup location for our online orders. The e-shop, user-friendly, minimal, stylish, with secure payment methods, and free pickup at 160 locations, speedy, local courier. The products, we have mostly gourmet products that are from many locations in Greece, everywhere in Greece. We represent some of the most unique products produced by small farmers in Greece. We specialize in Greek products. However, we are building, we have Bulgarian products, products from Poland, Italy, France, Spain, and each time we are looking for new partners from Central European countries, but from everywhere, to just have a bigger selection of the different flavors that come from all over the world. We do catering, we do events, we partner with local businesses. We try to be visible and everywhere. And in the evening, for the cocktail, we will also have wines and some delicacies for people to try. To include some of the caviar that we bring from Poland as distributors, the Greek wines of Nikos Lazaridis, who is a very large winemaker in Greece, in Drama, Greece. Our vision is to be more global. We are working on opening our international e-shop that will have as a fulfillment center Sofia, Bulgaria. We will ship from here around the world. Even though we are bringing products from many different producers to Bulgaria and looking to open internationally west, we are looking east. Our next step is to open, to bring in products from Asian countries, but also being able to ship to Asian countries. The Belt and Road Initiative is going to greatly assist us in this. We work for the small companies, and we give them the ability to be in countries where they could not be on their own. And with this, as I said, a short presentation so I can allow you to go to lunch. This is our information for the social media. My personal email is also there, and come visit our shop to discover over 400 different products that we have to offer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Katerina, for introducing the potential of your shop and developing the relationship with potential customers and partners, including those and the role that Belt and Road Initiative can play in assisting you bringing the products from Asia and selling them in Europe as well. So shall we go in for a Q&A session, or we simply complete this session? What do you think? Are you too tired? Are there any questions to the presenters? I see there are none, silence, so it's time for lunch. Okay, we are announcing lunch time, and then we move into our panel sessions. Thank you very much for your participation and attention.